Madlanga Commission explained, the inquiry that could shake South Africa's justice system. In today's deep dive, we're unpacking one of the most important ongoing investigations in South Africa right now, the Madlanga Commission. What is it? Who created it? Who is being investigated? And why are legal experts calling it a possible turning point for the country's criminal justice system? Stay with me as we break this down in simple, clear language. Timeline, key players, allegations, political impact, and what South Africans should be watching next. Let's get into it. The Madlanga Commission, officially a judicial commission of inquiry, was established to investigate serious allegations of corruption, criminality, and political interference inside South Africa's criminal justice and policing structures. It is chaired by retired Constitutional Court Judge Madlanga. The commission was set up by President Cyril Ramaphosa after mounting public concern that criminal networks and political interests may have influenced law enforcement operations and investigations. In simple terms, this commission is asking, has the justice system itself been compromised? The commission did not appear out of nowhere. It followed repeated allegations that certain police units acted outside the law. Some investigations were blocked or redirected. Political figures interfered with policing decisions. Specialized crime-fighting structures were weakened or dismantled. Evidence may have been manipulated or planted in certain cases. There were also claims that rogue networks inside policing and municipal law enforcement were operating with protection from powerful figures. Because of how serious these claims are, a normal internal investigation was considered insufficient, which is why a full judicial inquiry was launched. A judicial commission has more powers. It can call witnesses, demand documents, and take sworn testimony. The scope of the Madlanga Commission includes Keycap 1, Political Interference in Policing. Keycap 2, Corruption within Criminal Justice Structures. Keycap 3, Rogue or Unauthorized Enforcement Units. Keycap 4, Possible Collusion between Officials and Criminal Actors. Tecla 5, Suppression or Manipulation of Investigations. Keycap 6, Abuse of Intelligence or Surveillance Powers. Some testimony has focused on metropolitan police structures and specialized enforcement teams, especially where witnesses allege operations happened outside legal authority. This is not just about individual wrongdoing. It's about whether parts of the system were captured or misused. The Commission has been holding public hearings where witnesses testify under oath. Important developments include protected witnesses giving evidence. Some witnesses trying unsuccessfully to block testimony. Allegations of unlawful task teams. Claims of politically influenced policing decisions. Testimony pointing to corruption networks at municipal enforcement level. Some sessions have been tense with legal challenges, objections, and cross-examinations. This tells us something important. The stakes are high, and some people clearly fear what may come out. You might be wondering, how does this affect everyday citizens? Here's why it matters. Trust in policing. If law enforcement is compromised, public safety suffers. Fair investigations. Cases may collapse if evidence handling is corrupt. Political accountability. Powerful figures may face scrutiny. Institutional reform. Structures may be rebuilt or replaced. Future prosecutions. Evidence from the Commission can trigger criminal cases. If wrongdoing is proven, referrals can be made for prosecution. That means this commission is not just symbolic, it can lead to legal consequences. Politically, this inquiry is highly sensitive. It touches senior policing leadership, political office holders, municipal enforcement authorities, oversight structures, intelligence-linked operations. Supporters say the commission is a necessary cleanup effort. Critics argue it may expose deep institutional failures. Either way, it places pressure on government to show real reform, not just promises. Here's what to expect going forward. More witness testimony. Additional document disclosures. Possible explosive revelations. Interim and final reports. Referrals for prosecution where evidence supports it. Commissions like this often reshape policy and policing structures after findings are released. So the final report could lead to structural reforms, leadership changes, criminal investigations, new oversight mechanisms. The Madlanga Commission could become one of the most consequential justice inquiries in recent South African history. It raises a core national question. Are the institutions meant to protect the law, themselves protected from corruption and interference? As hearings continue, we'll likely see more testimony, more documents, and possibly more political fallout. Right now in South Africa, conversations are continuing around the work and revelations of the Madlanga Commission. Public discussion is not limited to politicians and legal experts. Everyday citizens, civil society groups, and online communities are actively reacting and debating what it all means. Across social media platforms and online discussion forums, one theme appears repeatedly: frustration and fatigue. Many South Africans say they feel emotionally worn out by repeated commissions of inquiry over the years. According to many commenters, the pattern feels familiar. Major headlines, shocking testimony, long investigations, but very few visible consequences afterward. In community comment sections and discussion threads, people frequently express that commissions often produce detailed reports, yet prosecutions or disciplinary outcomes are slow or unclear. This has created a wave of skepticism. It is not necessarily skepticism about investigations themselves, but doubt about whether the outcomes will lead to real change in governance and accountability. One of the strongest emotional reactions has centered on the killing of a key commission witness known publicly as Witness D, identified in media reporting as Marius van der Merwe. Public reaction online has been intense and emotional. Many people expressed shock, others anger, and some fear for future whistleblowers who may want to come forward. Media reaction and civil commentary reported by outlets such as Pretoria News highlighted how civil groups described the killing as a serious failure in witness protection systems and a threat to anti-corruption efforts. Public discussion shows widespread concern that if witnesses are not adequately protected, fewer insiders will be willing to testify in future investigations. Beyond emotional reactions, there are also strong calls for concrete action. Members of the public, along with legal analysts and commentators, argue that testimony and interim findings should lead to immediate suspensions and internal disciplinary processes where officials are implicated. Discussion segments and reaction interviews carried by broadcasters such as East Coast Radio have featured voices calling for faster administrative action rather than waiting years for final reports. Other commentators emphasize that reform must go beyond punishment of individuals. They argue that the system itself needs strengthening, especially around whistleblower protection, witness security, and independent oversight mechanisms. According to this view, accountability should be both personal and structural. Civil society organizations and governance experts are also interpreting the Commission's findings in a broader context. Analysis coverage in publications such as Sunday Independent suggests that the issues being exposed point to deeper systemic weaknesses rather than isolated misconduct. Experts argue that the patterns emerging indicate entrenched corruption risks and oversight gaps that require institutional reform. Civil organizations are calling for stronger legal protection for whistleblowers, faster prosecution processes, independent monitoring bodies, and transparent follow-through after commission recommendations are published. Their position is that investigation alone is not reform. Implementation is what determines impact. On platforms such as X and public discussion forums, reactions are often more blunt. Many users express open cynicism, saying they expect little to change based on past experience with earlier inquiries. Common sentiments include doubt that meaningful prosecutions will follow and concern that political interests may slow or weaken outcomes. At the same time, there are also voices encouraging public pressure and civic monitoring. Some users are urging citizens, journalists, and watchdog groups to track whether recommendations are implemented and whether cases move forward in court or disciplinary channels. Political party reactions have been mixed. Reporting and policy coverage from platforms like polity.org.za show that some parties support the commission but want changes in how it operates, while others raise legal or procedural concerns about its scope and process. This split response reflects how the commission has become both a legal and political focal point. Overall, public reaction can be grouped into several major sentiments: frustration over past inquiry outcomes, anger and concern about witness safety, calls for faster accountability, expert warnings about systemic corruption risks, and widespread skepticism mixed with demands for reform. The dominant public message is that investigations must be followed by visible consequences and measurable institutional change.